Now let's take a look at our first Chordiac drill, or our first chord exercise. This exercise is based on what we call a harmonized major scale. If you haven't progressed that far in your studies of theory, that's okay. This exercise will still do you a lot of good. Simply learn the chords and practice the exercise. Now on these Chordiac drills, some of these chords are going to be difficult and new for you, most likely. So I suggest before playing the exercise, simply learn the moves first. So let's go over those chords quickly. We're starting with a C major 7 chord. That looks like that. We'll also have a chord D minor 7, then E minor 7, F major 7, G dominant 7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, and our octave C major 7. Now the object of this exercise is to even out your playing of notes and chords. When you're playing something that consists of both notes and chords, the tendency is to slow down a little bit on the chords and to speed up a little bit on the single notes. The primary purpose of this is to give every note and every chord its full value. If you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, I suggest you add the syllable "and" after 4. The reason is you don't want to pick up your hand to get to the next chord until after you've said "and" on the previous chord. So what we're going to do is alternate playing a chord, and then the next move is the next chord but arpeggiated, and then we go back to playing a chord again, then an arpeggiated chord, and so on through the scale. So it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, now that was once through. Now, the B section of this exercise means that instead of starting with a strummed chord, start with an arpeggiated chord instead, and then alternate from there. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. And that's the basic idea. It's much harder than it looks because you need to keep your tempo very exact. Don't speed up, don't slow down. Make sure your notes and your chords are the same volume. It's also important to be able to do this in all 12 keys. So once you've learned this well in the key of C as shown, go ahead and transpose it to all the other keys. When working on these exercises in different keys, make sure you find the chords first. It'll make your progress a little faster. So if we were going to play this exercise in G, you would start here. Here's our G major 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, C major 7, D dominant 7, E minor 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and G major 7. It's really as simple as that. It's just like sliding bar chords around, only with these new shapes. So you would apply the same alternating chord strum and arpeggios to that as well, and cover the entire neck. It's very important to do that. Now, other ways you want to think about picking this, I was just using all downstrokes for the chords, and I was arpeggiating using downstrokes as well. But you could use all upstrokes like this, C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G 7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, and C major 7. Once again, the object here is to make them sound the same. Or you can alternate picking that way too, like a down strum, up strum, down strum, up strum, down strum, up strum, down strum, up strum. Now, if you're going to practice this finger style, there's a few interesting ways to do this. You could play them all at the same time. In other words, use P, I, M, and A simultaneously. This produces a more pianistic sound because you're actually striking all the notes at the same time rather than arpeggiating. Or you might want to arpeggiate with your fingers. Or you could do what we call outside-inside or inside-outside technique. And this is pretty useful whether you're playing exercises or songs, really. You make the chord, and then with your thumb and third finger, P and A, you simply strike the two outside notes of the chord. Now when I say outside, I mean the lowest note and the highest note, like this. While those are ringing, you reach in with I and M and play the middle two strings. So you're going outside, inside. Or you could reverse it and go inside, outside. So it's a little more musical way of practicing these exercises.